Hi, I'm Philo, and welcome back to my series about classic QuakeCon Grand Finals from 2000 to 2016. I'm here today with QuakeCon 2004, CZM vs. Zero4, and I am so excited for these two players. First, I want to say a few quick things about the feedback I got in my last video. Thank you so much, everyone. Please keep the feedback coming, it's great. Most importantly, someone noted that even for 2003, a best of one Grand Final was extremely weird. And I guess that's just a QuakeCon thing, right? QuakeCon does have some fairly weird tournament formats over the years. We're going to see one more best of one Grand Final in 2008, unfortunately, but other than that, they're all going to be media. But I'm still just going to be watching one map from each, because otherwise I will go a little bit crazy. Also, I got a lot of feedback about video, so please let me know how the video here looks. It should be a lot better. Alright, so Zero4 is back. 3-time QuakeCon winner, and he's appearing in his 4th Grand Final here. It's going to take 10 years for someone else to appear in 4 Grand Finals. It's really crazy. You have to appreciate how significant Zero4 is in this era, how dominant his performances are. Because overall in the Quake 3 scene, we don't see that much action this year. ESWC 2004 has a weird country-based format that both Zero4 and CZM, along with a few other Americans, come second into Team Sweden. Painkiller has its first event in 2004, Unreal Tournament 2004 is happening, Fatality is off playing those games, he's disappeared from Quake. It just doesn't look like there's that much money here. On the other side of the fence, we have CZM, who we haven't seen yet, but he's been here, and he's been placing well at QuakeCons in the background with top 8s, top 4s. He's a really smart player, and he's a really smart man. As far as I know, he's some kind of maths genius. I watched him give a lecture once online about lattices. I don't know, I followed half of it. So we're going to see from CZM smart plays and really sharp aim. Especially his arrow walk is really famous. I'm sad there's no arrow walk in this set. We're going to see him on Blood Run here, and I want to see what damage he can do, especially with this railgun. Alright, and it looks like we're going to be away on CZM's point of view here. This is a GTV demo, so we might be swapping around, and indeed we are on to Zero4. Quality. So, look, Blood Run spawns, we're expecting things to be pretty standard. It looks like CZM zipped right across to that red armor really quickly. It's nice to see, and then he's come back around. Maybe he spawned at shotgun? I don't know. And maybe Zero4 got a sound cue there. The other interesting thing about GTV demos, a demo that was recorded over the internet, is that sometimes it's going to look a little jerky, and sometimes the sounds they're just not going to play. So we're going to have to fill in some gaps here, but that's okay. When you're watching experienced players like this, you can usually infer what's been going on, right? So look, Zero4 wants to block CZM away from this mega health. He's spamming a lot of his LG. He needs to be careful. That rail might have been a hit, but we can tell from Zero4's stack that it wasn't. Again, we're gonna have some awkward swaps of perspective here. I'm very sorry about this. There's literally nothing I can do about it. Zero4 hits a lot of LG, and that's gonna push CZM back at a pretty critical time. CZM calls a timeout. Let's see if we can skip on through this. But that's gonna give Zero4... Are we in? There we go. That's gonna give Zero4 the time to back away onto red. And from red, he's going to control the middle of the map and probably back away onto Mega. I would really love to be watching Zero4's perspective right now, but unfortunately, it cannot be done. We do not have the technology. So CZM's going to play it slow. He's going to camp out this corridor. This is exactly what you want to see on Blood Run, okay? You're out of control. You've got to play it slow. You've got to build up some of this armor. CZM, he probably knows that Zero4 is getting red again around about now. And he just wants to make sure that if Zero4 is going to get greedy and try and push through that corridor, that he can punish. I kind of like sticking your head out there, in a sense that it might bait Zero4 up through this corridor, but overall, yeah, just stay out of sight, stay out of mind, get this next yellow armor as well. Once you're 100-100, you're in much better shape to start to try and push out onto the map. And the score's tied. You know, you're not losing anything by waiting around here. Zero4 already had control backing out of that really strong LG fight, so CZM's done well to just bide his time. And now with these grenades, hopefully he can get some damage down. And it's good knowledge here, delay Zero4 down around this mega, the red armor's going to come up, CZM's certainly going to collect this red armor now, and he's just hit another really good grenade. It's hard to know exactly how much those grenades did because we didn't get the sound cues, but I'm guessing they did, and especially with that one, I'm guessing they've done a lot to Zero4, and he's going to back away from this red. I can feel it in my bones. Don't hang around here, Zero4. Now, CZM, he's used up the plasma gun, so out comes Zero4, and suddenly CZM, he gave up that red. He was very passive around that red, and now he's going to give up Mega as well. So CZM, he's going to be chilling out, he's going to be playing the grenade spam game, unless he sneaks onto Mega from here, but it seems unlikely. There comes Zero4. Again, the grenade spam is really strong. It's hard to know exactly how much damage is being done but the grenade spam looks really strong. You know, a good direct grenade is going to nullify that mega health, right? You get 100 health from the mega, 100 damage on the grenade, and you may as well have not bothered showing up to mega. Alright, so CZM, again, we're still just watching CZM playing this super passive. It's not the point of view I'd choose, but it's the point of view I deserve. Again, I love that he's just hanging out and spamming these grenades, right? This is such a mature and reasonable approach to the game. Now, if ZeroFour had a lot of stack here, and it's hard to know exactly how much he has, again, because I think we've missed some sounds from some of these grenade connections, but if ZeroFour had a lot of stack, he potentially could have even rocket jumped up there, and you do see that sometimes when players are spamming with grenades. If you let your opponent get close enough, like into the right position, they can kind of rocket jump while you're mid-grenade, and they get a free shot off if they're confident they could win the fight, right? But it's not a safe and secure way to play. ZeroFour should definitely be thinking about getting a frag on the board right now, because 4 minutes in with pretty good control, except the problem is that CZM's been so clever, right? The pressure he's been putting onto this mega to make sure that he gets onto these reds. So, you know, even though ZeroFour has kind of been in a fairly strong position, CZM's just hoovering up all this armor. ZeroFour hasn't been able to push him in the back room, and I wonder how much this comes down to the 100 damage rail of Quake 3, right? I imagine this is an especially passive game, but when you have 100 damage rail, any wrong move around the middle of the map is going to ruin your stacks so much faster, right? That extra 20 damage adds up a lot. And CZM now, he's finally moved into this mega. Brilliant timing. ZeroFour, maybe actually just reading that a little bit late. The angle he came into that room, he wanted to get onto the mega platform. He wasn't just going for exit damage, right? So I don't know if that's a little bit of sloppiness in how he moved in, or a little bit of sloppiness in timing, but either way, CZM, if he gets into this room cleanly, which he does, ZeroFour playing this very passive, looking for an exit shot which he doesn't connect, suddenly he's in a really bad place. I love this control, CZM trying to make sure that ZeroFour can't get anywhere from the middle of the map, and this is going to be first frag to CZM. That's a bad way for ZeroFour to die as well. He hardly gets any damage, he's caught on the stairs, and CZM had the time to really get in there and hunt for those frags between the items, right? It's really scary when your opponent on ZTN has time to hunt around in between those items. But of all the places to get caught, right, you don't want to be on that side of the rocket. If you're going to get caught on Blood Run, you want to be below the shards, or you want to be, you know, in the plasma room somewhere. You don't want to get caught out in a place where you have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, and no way of dealing big damage to your opponent even if you get forced into a fight. So CZM, he picks up Mega there, we don't get a sound cue but it's okay, and he is stacked to the teeth. ZeroFour doesn't want this fight. He's got to back away, CZM's going to pressure in the middle of the map. ZeroFour, trying to play a little bit tricky around the pillar, buys himself some space to back away, but he backs away from that red armor, and that red armor is going to go nicely with CZM's control. CZM waiting for the right moment with the sounds to push in. Again, it's so tricky, it's so clever. He's playing to get more frags on the board. And, you know, we're approaching the halfway mark for this map. Again, a reminder that duels in this era are 15 minutes long. What a marathon session to be playing Blood Run. I guess that's another reason to take it pretty slow at the start as well, right? Like, if you lose the first frag 5 minutes into Blood Run in Quake Live, it's pretty scary. If you lose the first frag, you know, a third of the way into a 15-minute game, it's nowhere near as scary. Beautiful use of Plasma Gun there, beautiful reads onto how ZeroFour wanted to move, and a great punish, and a great play to get onto this spawn, right? Blocks your opponent off from the rockets. This is ingenious, okay? The obvious thing to do is to go back to Railgun and catch your opponent trying to drop down. ZeroFour seemingly, you know, making the right play, but CZM knows what ZeroFour wanted. I like the aggression there from ZeroFour. It was a good gamble, but it hasn't worked out for him here, and CZM is going to extend his lead. And now we're looking at a point where, you know, ZeroFour does just kind of, almost a bit aimlessly here, come into the middle of the map. Like, he's trying to get lucky with this damage, and yeah, he gets so much down. The machine gun is ridiculous. I always forget how ridiculous the Quake 3 machine gun seems in these fights, you know, like, as we're going to get a bit further into the Quake 3 era, you get players like Cypher and Avec, you know, right at the end, who just destroy the game with their hit scan, basically. But right off of this spawn, CZM knows where to go, and he's straight onto that Mega uncontested. Even though ZeroFour is able to get that, you know, very, very fortunate fight, right off of the spawn with that machine gun, he takes damage doing it, and not only does he take damage, but he doesn't have the guns. CZM able to just respawn onto the item. He knows where to go. Great fight here for 0-4, and that's going to win him some all-important control at this, second half of the map. He sneaks away with the red armor, but CZM's here to punish, but he loses the railgun trade, and suddenly CZM's totally off the map. And that's the risk of taking a trade after your opponent's stolen an item away, right? If CZM takes the damage there, he has a lot more to lose, because, well, now what does he do? Where does he go? He just has to hide out near that teleporter, camp it out, and zip away onto that 50 health. The armor goes down well, but again, what does CZM play for right now? He just has to react to the chase. And a 4 frag lead, it's definitely not completely secure, not with how spawns are on Bloodrun. So CZM, he could try and run the clock down, but really he's got to be thinking about ways he can get damage onto 0-4, wherever he can, and most importantly, ways to stay alive. Oh, just taking a revitalizing sip of my tea there. CZM's going to be sneaking around the bottom of the map, and he's going to be using sounds. And this is the kind of intelligent play that I really wanted to see from him. Again, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of CZM in this era. Now that's a lot of rocket damage. If CZM gets out of here without eating a rail, he's just done beautifully to equalize the stacks, okay? He can come around and get this yellow armor. And then he probably even has time, potentially, if he gets into the middle of the map here, it's going to be a nightmare for 0-4. And not only does he get into the middle of the map, but he hits a railgun. CZM looking for 0-4 to back away, waiting for a sound cue. Again, beautiful. He lets 0-4 just fall on his own sword, have the red, but CZM is going to absolutely shred your stack even further. So 0-4 has nothing. CZM can make a play on this Mega as long as he gets in cleanly. And 0-4 wisely, oh no, he comes around the corner at the perfect wrong time. Again, I love the spawn play here for CZM. He knows what to look for, and that was just so patient, right? Waiting for the right opportunity to strike, like knowing that once he connected with those rockets, it was time to make a play, hitting the perfect rails and just showing so much patience in setting up those shots. And then again, you're not going to get that situation for CZM every time, but once the damage was there, he knew exactly what was due to get himself back in the driving seat and back on the board. And now 5 minutes to go. This is a scary control for CZM. 0-4 doesn't have long to really break this. Especially not if he's going to be giving up frags like that. I like this pressure for CZM on the spawn. Dances around, make sure, there's a Mega at his back to sneak away onto. I like that 0-4 plays this kind of fast, but where do you go off of this red armor once the LG pin comes on? And the spawn as well. Oh, this is a disaster right now. Surely for 0-4, this is everything that he has to offer. And 0-4 hasn't played this badly. It feels like there were almost a few times he could have afforded to take some more risks playing towards the Mega. And yeah, it definitely looks like 0-4 is a broken man, maybe just gambling on some shotgun damage here. He might continue to try and gamble. CZM, this is a strong position, this is a safe position. He can just look for as much spam as he wants. 0-4 doesn't have a railgun here, right? There's nothing 0-4 can do about this. CZM meets a really, really bad rocket, but again, no railgun for 0-4. It's going to make CZM pretty comfortable. CZM doesn't even care. He loses track of Mega a little bit there, it seems. Or maybe he picked it up and lost it in the fight. I don't think so. If I just bring up the timer. Yeah, no, 0-4 stole it away. And look, good damage for 0-4 here. He just has to push, and he just has to get the frag. And again, this is a time when I would love to be able to swap to 0-4's perspective, but it's fine. It's fine. We've seen all the other games so far from one point of view. It's just they're usually the point of view of the dominating player. Or I guess, a player who has been dominating for the entire game. So yeah, I guess this is the most plus back match we've seen in a QuakeCon Grand Final so far. Now might be a good time to make a note, just as CZM is certainly going to camp this out towards the plasma gun room here. I can't see him being too bold with any of the plays he's going to make. Like, surely the next thing to happen here is 0-4 tries to push into this room because he has to make frags up. CZM's actually going to cross the map. Here comes 0-4. And just perfect defensive plays. 0-4, he's got to keep pressure on, but if CZM's going to hit defensive shots like that, well, CZM just wins the game, right? A few other things to note about this QuakeCon, just while we're wrapping up. This was the first QuakeCon that Cooler attended, right? Cooler, this QuakeCon, he lost to 0-4, and then he lost to CZM, and go figure that these guys are the ones in the grand final. When you look at the top 4 for this event, actually, 04 was kind of the upper bracket winner. He beat CZM in the upper bracket final. Then CZM beat Cooler in the lower bracket final, and Cooler had in turn beaten Dela. So 04, CZM duking it out in the grand final, Cooler in third, Dela in fourth. This is also the first QuakeCon where Toxic appeared, as CZM does just do the most annoying thing in the world, more of this plus back play into railgun finish. Can't get too much more frustrating to play against than that, as CZM has surely just won himself the map. Right? If there was any sliver of hope before, it is just disintegrated into the ashes. But yeah, I mean, QuakeCon 2004, like I said, a couple of good players. El Pajo was here from Venezuela. I think he played in 2003 as well. You have to respect El Pajo. It's a really old meme for anyone not too sure about that one. But yeah, across the board, I'm having a lot of fun making this series. It's been great just learning about these guys, and yeah, it's good to see a vintage CZM game, because I haven't really watched many of them, and it hasn't disappointed, you know. I think the highlight of the game for me definitely was watching CZM set up those rails in mid, like especially just chilling out around the corner from shotgun, waiting for 04 to jump to the red, and then poking out, hitting the perfect rail at the perfectly wrong time for 04. You know, it's that kind of play where you're not only playing into the opponent, but you're playing into the exact, like, position that the opponent's standing in, the exact kind of pixel that they're on, right? As these guys are just going to trade some damage out here. I mean, 04 is going to push. He has to. He has to, even though he's going to lose. And there we go. We've got GTV chat, everyone. It has just been enabled on the server, so here we go. Oh, here comes the spam. Man, this is one of the best things about GTV games. For people who don't know what GTV is, it's like a server that you connect to that just hosts the game, so you don't have a bunch of randoms connecting directly to your QuakeCon official grand final server where they can like DDoS it or anything. Especially given that it's a LAN server, right? You don't need to expose it to the internet. You have a bot that sits in the server that forwards all the information onto another server that people can connect to, and you can like multiplex it. You can have 20 GTV servers hosting or viewing the same game, right? And people are getting in here and chatting shit constantly, and it's incredible. So that was CZM defeating QuakeCon Titan 04. 3 wins and 4 grand final appearances, but no 4th win. But this isn't going to be the last we see of 04. I'll say that. And you just have to love how patiently CZM played that. Even though it wasn't necessarily the most exciting, the most flashy game, he played it really well. And I think when people watch games like this, they have a tendency to say, you know, Quake Duel, you know, Blood Run, it's such a campy, such a boring map, but every moment in that game, something was changing, right? CZM sits in the plasma gun room and gets 2 yellow armors in a row. The map is changing. 04 is establishing control. CZM is collecting what he can to make his next play. And I think that's the important thing you have to remember, and that's why I like to commentate, why I really have loved commentating this game, because I like trying to put an exciting spin on a game that lots of people might just dismiss as boring. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. QuakeCon 2004, fantastic final, well-deserved win by CZM, and I'll see you guys back for QuakeCon 2006. We're skipping 2005 because there was no Quake 3. So I'll see you guys then.